Welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 264 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. Please check out my graphic novel. The ebook is only $2.99, link in the description. I'm Kier, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts, Emerson.
Hey, what's going on?
And Everett.
Hey, what's up?
This week, the team reviews X-Men Apocalypse. Worshipped as a god since the dawn of civilization, the immortal Apocalypse becomes the first and most powerful mutant. Awakening after thousands of years, he recruits the disheartened Magneto and other mutants to create a new world order. As the fate of the Earth hangs in the balance, Professor X and Raven lead a team of young X-Men to stop their seemingly invincible nemesis from destroying mankind. I'm going to explain our rating system. On this show, we give the titles that we have watched a rating of win, draw, or loss. A win is a title that we would highly recommend, while a draw is a title we didn't love or recognize others may appreciate. A loss means we do not recommend the title. Anybody want to go first?
Sure. So when we were talking about reviewing these movies, I said I was really excited for Apocalypse because I didn't remember anything except that it was bad. So I was really pumped turning it on, and it's been a really long time since I struggled this much to just watch a film. It was genuinely very difficult to get through. I found the dialogue to be very cringy at points. I found the special effects to be dated and overused at certain points. I found a lot of the plot to be nonsensical. Even though if you boil it down to like the base elements of the plots, it's like, oh, that would sound interesting, or you'd think it would, but seeing how it like acts, seeing how it actually comes together, I was like, what the fuck is going on? They give characters families to kill them to do the same thing again, so it's like, oh no, like it was really singularly awful, and I completely understand why the series got one more movie after this and then just went away. I completely see why that happened. So it's a loss for me. Yeah.
Everett?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a loss as well. I think I was of the firm belief that it was this, like kind of what Emerson said. It was that this movie and the next movie are like where the X-Men series sort of started to drop off a little bit. They took the goodwill that had accumulated with First Class and they sort of squandered it with this new reboot.
But wasn't First Class like rebounding from the horrible X-Men Wolverine movies?
Yeah, it seems like each one is like trying to get back from the last bad one.
That's my previous view. Now I'm sort of the belief that all of these movies have pros and cons and various problems, and this is just like a new breed of bad that we're gonna hopefully see with the next one too. But I don't know, like I like some of the things they did in this movie. Like there's a few scenes that I can count off that I liked, and some of the jokes made me laugh. But other than that, like,
would Cad Bane have made this movie better?
Absolutely, it would have. If Cad Bane had showed up.
Which jokes made you laugh?
Like when they're breaking everybody out of the prison and Nightcrawler's counting on his fingers, like 1, 2, and sees that he only has 3 fingers, like that stuff, like that, like little things.
The first time he realized he
forgot.
He's actually an idiot.
That joke made me chuckle. When there's scenes at the end, like when we're in spoilers now, right?
Sure.
No. Okay.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Like when Magneto shows up at the end, like I betrayed them. I like that scene, even though it's kind of cringy.
That made you laugh.
No, I liked it. It did make me laugh, but I also, that was my favorite scene in the whole movie originally. But now, upon rewatching it, I realized that it just pans over to him just floating there like on a wire, and it's really bad. But yeah, I'll talk more like when we actually start going over the plot. But yeah, it's a loss. It's not as good as I had imagined it used to be, but whatever.
I give it a loss. I give it a draw because there are a few elements that I like, just a few. And so like to me, I didn't hate the entire movie. I really think it's Magneto. I think he slows the movie to a crawl every time they go to his family and all that crap. And the other problem is something about Apocalypse I had sort of made peace with the first time we saw the movie, but seeing him now, having kind of like forgotten that it existed and I didn't like mentally wrap my head around it, seeing him again, I was like, wow, he looks awful.
He really does. And this is Oscar Isaac, right?
Yeah.
What a waste. Why the fuck did they even get him? You can barely even tell it's him.
I feel so bad for him because they screwed him over here. They screwed him over in Star Wars. They screwed him over in Moon Knight, supposedly. But he's had a bad run.
Yeah, I don't know why the design is so bad. It doesn't need to be. Well, it doesn't have to look the way it does. He could have just had blue skin. It would have been fine. Like, I don't know why he looks like a Power Ranger villain.
Yeah.
Why it's like half mechanical. I just doesn't. It doesn't make
Yeah,
any
and
sense.
those tubes in his neck are so noticeable in the scenes. I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are those?
He does look a lot like Cad Bane.
Yeah, that's the joke I was making when I said Cad Bane was in this movie.
What about the opening sequence?
I actually kind of liked it.
Which
Like,
which aspect? You mean the Egypt scene or
Yeah,
the
the
weird
Egypt scene.
I mean, I didn't have an issue with it, but the problem is it like for a god, I guess they hate him when he was doing the transfer, right? That's
Yeah.
why it
Mhm.
succeeded. But the CGI in some of those scenes was not
The
great.
CGI, yeah, but okay, that's been like almost every Marvel movie for a while.
I know, but I criticize it
Since
equally.
Infinity War. Infinity War had good CGI. Even Endgame looks a little weird in some ways. I like that scene and I like the brutality of it. Like when they're turning, like, what do they do to that one person?
he like turns him into ash. Someone throws another guy into a wall.
I mean the one where they disfigure him.
He like
They
crushes
like
him.
crunch
Almost,
that
right?
guy. Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know how any of those are mutations, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was like, it's just fucking magic, bro. Like, fuck off. And then, okay, so yeah, that scene wasn't bad. Then there was a very 2000s esque, like that intro when they're going through the tunnel to the modern
yeah,
age.
it was okay.
It was
Like, I didn't
okay, but
hate
I was
it.
like, damn, this looks like a Spy Kids thing. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Haven't they done that in a lot of the X-Men movies?
yeah, and
Every
it's
X-Men
always a
movie starts like
little
that.
like, it's like,
except for First Class.
stop doing this. Like,
And then so basically at that point the movie just kind of goes way downhill. Like as soon as it starts, after that first Egyptian scene where Scott is like having eye problems and asks
Yeah.
to go to the nurse, and she's like, "And while you're out there, why don't you stop at the principal's office for disrupting class again?"
it's like because he asked to go to the
Yeah.
doctor. It's like
So we're supposed to take from that like, oh, he's like
he's a rebel.
yeah, he's a rebel kid in school.
Do you guys like Ty Sheridan? At least in this role? I mean,
I mean, I
I
don't
don't
have an
mind
issue with him. Yeah,
It's, he's a kid supposedly.
but he's not
You-
really a kid.
and then he ages 10 years supposedly in the next one. It's like, okay, but he doesn't act like he's been there for 10 years.
the
Yeah,
next one is so
and
bad.
so we get like it's he's in the school. That's weird. And then if I remember correctly, we start getting flashes to where everyone is, right? So like, don't we go to East Germany?
Yeah, where Mystique is like
Yeah,
watching the fight
Mystique's doing
rings.
stuff. Angel is fighting
She's trying to get
Nightcrawler.
like
Okay.
Angel and Nightcrawler, right?
I was gonna ask you guys. So is it just laziness, the fact that there's no continuity, or is that a different angel? Because he's called Archangel in this.
It's a different future now.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be really funny though if there just happened to be two people with like the same exact mutation down the line. Like, oh yeah,
Somehow it ends up in the future that we see at the end of Days of Future Past. I don't know how that happens, but especially since Mystique dies. So I don't know. I don't know how it works.
yeah, and
Or
so
not Mystique, Jean Grey.
yeah,
right,
Jean
like-
Grey dies, and so like that goes downhill. Then they kind of set up a romance between Scott and Jean Grey. It's like, all right, this isn't fantastic. We have Eric with his family in Poland. I was like,
The Eric stuff is really bad. They have Michael Fassbender basically like crying in every scene. And then it
Yeah.
like peaks at the point where he's like, "Is this what you want from me?" And he's like shaking his fist at the sky. It's like, wow, this is like,
yeah, it's almost like they took the fact that like it's interesting when he's like emotional and being like violent, and they're like, that's what we're going to reduce his entire character to. But by doing that, you lose any weight or any significance of him being like that.
It's like these like last
very
3
hysterical.
movies. They're like,
Yeah.
we need to get Magneto back on track. Let's just kill someone he loves.
And yeah, so and also can I say that scene that I think is supposed to be badass when he uses the dog tags or whatever to kill all the guards in the forest was just kind of stupid. Like there's
Yeah.
a necklace going around like zing 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 zing. And they're all
See,
like falling.
I have a problem with what they did with him, because if you think about the story arc, Apocalypse makes him one of his horsemen,
Mhm.
and then his arc is to realize that he like gave up the fight for the X-Men or the mutants, and he should have like kept that going the whole time. And that's where he's like back on track for being like a mutant advocate or whatever. The problem is he was pretty on track to like start a revolution at the end of Days of Future Past. And then he just didn't, apparently, because he ran away, and then there would be no way for the like Xavier to keep his mansion, I suppose, if there was a war on mutants.
Mhm.
And so he's like been in exile. I was like, why? He was at the top of his game at the end. He had almost assassinated the president of the United States, publicly announced like, it's on, bitches. And then he just fucks off to Poland and starts working in a factory.
Yeah.
So that part's weird. But when you're thinking like, okay, how do we bring him back in and give him an arc that makes any sense? And I'm like, does he even need to be in the movie?
No.
Right. But then what was he doing?
I mean,
There has to be a mutant war. And that really doesn't jive with the whole Apocalypse thing, unless Apocalypse is gonna like join the war. And then they're like, holy shit, there's a god, basically. Like,
there's a reviewer that I watch who makes this really good point about these movies in Magneto. It basically says, like, excluding the first one, like the very first X-Men movie, Magneto is basically like an unneeded secondary antagonist. Think about it. X-Men 2, Stryker's the main villain, but also Magneto. X-Men 3, Jean Grey's the villain, but also Magneto. Like, you're fighting against Shaw and everyone.
I would say that Magneto's the villain, but also Jean Grey for some reason.
Yeah, in 3 it flips them but I do see what Everett's saying. It's Shaw and Magneto, and then in Apocalypse it's or in Days of Future Past it's Trask
and the
and kind of
Sentinels.
Magneto and kind of Mystique.
But the reason for that is because Xavier and Fassbender or whatever, Magneto need to disagree on things. If they actually fought each other head to head, somebody's got to go.
No, and I understand what you're saying, but it also causes this weird problem where, if I remember correctly, this happens in the next one too, where Magneto just is like doing something fucking weird, and then he gets brought in, he's kind of evil, then he changes his mind, and then it goes back to him doing something weird. Yeah. Like, isn't he on Genosha in the next fucking one?
He's like in his mutant haven.
Yeah, he is. I don't know why he wouldn't have done that after the end of Days of Future Past.
Well, he's wanted. I think the only reason
they
pardon him, or they pardoned him, I think, after this movie.
After this movie?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, I think their reasoning is like because he was on the run in this movie because of all the stuff that happened with the president. And then after this movie, they pardoned him for helping defeat Apocalypse and save the planet, even though he sort of helped destroy it.
So here's his arc. Here's their problem. They need him to be like, I should have stuck with the mutants, my mutant friends, the whole time, because he's going to go against Apocalypse. Because if he doesn't go against Apocalypse, then he either kills all the X-Men or dies along with Apocalypse. So he's got to like be like, okay, those people are my friends. So in order to get him there, he has to be on Apocalypse's side first. And in order to be on Apocalypse's side first, he has to be like at a desperate point. And in order for him to be at a desperate point, they have to have him like lose, like they're retreading that first thing where he lost his mom. And in order for them to do the lost thing, they have to make him seem happy. And so that's why he has that whole stupid fake family thing. And then they die, and then he gets angry, and then he joins Apocalypse, and then he fights for some reason when he's just like floating in the sky. And then he changes his mind and decides that they're friends again. And so either he's not in it at all, or I think that was your only option. was to like do some convoluted mental backflips to get him in.
Yeah, but there were so many fucking things in this, like, and so I think where the movie really, really goes off the rails. So like you have all the stuff happening at the beginning, and it's like, all right, whatever. You get to the point where you have Quicksilver's run through the house where he
mansion.
saves everyone.
I think like right before that something happens.
Yeah. So before that,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he takes them all and they blow up the plane.
well, so he takes control of Xavier. And
yeah, that wasn't a bad scene.
no, I like that. That's why I'm saying, but I'm getting there. And then so you've got up to there, like the movie kind of regains itself because I like seeing Xavier and Apocalypse taking control is cool. And
Well,
he's
I would
shooting,
say the movie doesn't even really start until that scene.
yeah. And so he shoots all the missiles into space. Like, okay, cool. Then there's the slow-mo, like Quicksilver saves everyone, which okay, that was fine. Like it was impressive. Like it wasn't amazing, but it was like, okay, but it does make him stupidly overpowered, but whatever. Then
Don't worry, they nerf him later.
Here's where the movie really falls apart, in my opinion. When fucking Stryker decides to randomly show up, captures all of them, has a like anti-mutant barrier, and then they spend time in the dam. Like, oh God, I was so bored. Like, I don't care about this. They find Wolverine. She tells him his name. He runs off like a naked moron.
The only reason that they even go there is just to do the Wolverine thing because they just get
I
right
know.
back out. And it's
Mhm.
like,
I
hey,
know.
let's go fight Apocalypse.
And then, yeah, they literally go. I didn't realize it was like, if you think about the locales, it's the movie setting itself up, but weirdly. Then the movie kind of starts with the mansion getting destroyed. Then they go to the dam. Then they go fight Apocalypse in Egypt.
Yeah, that's why the movie starts when what's his name? Apocalypse starts to launch the nukes, and it goes through that whole sequence. Because up until that point, it's basically all set up. He's just like walking around, he's talking, he's being fucking weird, and then it's just like
he like meets
Magneto's bullshit.
Storm in Egypt.
Yeah, just like shit like that, and then Magneto is and his whole family. That shit is so boring. I believe there's some Jean Grey, like I don't know.
Phoenix Force shit.
I thought that Sophie Turner was horrible in this. Like I'm watching Game of Thrones right now, so I'm watching her again. Like she can definitely act. She just doesn't care at all.
I wouldn't care either.
It's weird though because like that would be the next logical step is for her to be. She is the star of the next one, so it's for her to pick up one of these mainstream movie franchises and she's the star of it. And it's like the perfect segue to her career at this point. And she just doesn't care at all. And I'm not saying that the movies would have been better, but it's just so weird how uninterested she is. In every line of dialogue she gives, she's basically just like, yeah, whatever. I'm kind of an outcast.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't care at all. I thought it was so weird. Because I'm watching her in Game of Thrones, like, wait, she can act. She's not bad. So why is she so
She's
bad?
very good, actually.
So Caliban, that is supposed to be the character from Logan, right?
Yeah.
Oh, who plays him in Logan?
Oh, Caliban. I thought you just said Taliban. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh. Who plays him? Who's the guy?
Isn't it the director?
No, it's the Office guy.
Oh,
and he's famous. Like he was in that HBO show Girls.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
He's a comedian. I don't know who plays him in this movie. Just some weird guy with no hair. He's the tall guy with glasses.
Yeah, hold on. Okay.
He's on the Ricky Gervais show. God,
Caliban. Stephen Merchant.
Stephen Merchant. Yeah, I knew it was Stephen something.
Yeah, and but Kia, what you were saying with like everything's all set up and then the movie starts. Once it starts, it seems to go super quickly without anything happening because once they go to the dam, that felt really long to me. And then they go very quickly into the final fight and they're fighting him for a while without anything happening. And some of it's cool, but some of it overstays its welcome. I think it's interesting that Xavier goes to fight him in his mind, although the dialogue Xavier saying is interesting. You're in my house now.
that dialogue plus some of the
Elsabar
CGI of that battle makes it,
says.
it kind of makes you feel like you're watching a CW show, like that entire.
Yeah, and that like mental fight goes on for too long. And then in the real world, everyone's just like shooting at him with stuff and he's just shielding.
Well, can I
And-
ask, why does he seem to affect their hair?
Because
What?
it's remember he's becoming whoever he transfers into.
Oh, and he's bald. Fantastic.
Yeah, but they don't turn into him. He turns into them.
Yeah, so he's transferring his consciousness to.
And then
Xavier
the body
body.
gets remade to look like him, though.
Yeah,
No, it
'Cause that's
doesn't.
what- Yeah,
it
because
does.
when he transfers the first guy, he becomes what he is now.
Yeah, but why does Storm's hair become different?
Oh, you're talking about
that's
the
power
horseman.
amplification. That's power
That's
amplification.
stupidity. That's what that
Yeah,
is.
what does that have to do with the hair? Doesn't he do that to Magneto too? And it doesn't turn his hair white, which would have made a lot of sense for continuity and comic
mean,
accuracy.
I guess, but
He doesn't do anything to his hair. But Storm has something done to her hair, and so does Xavier.
they noticed, oh, she has white hair in the other movies. We need to. Well, that's the continuity we need to keep up with.
So is it that Xavier is now a more powerful mutant because of what happened? Is
I
that
don't
what
know. I
they're
don't.
saying in this movie.
Here's the thing. It's so weird and convoluted. I couldn't really keep track. From what I can tell, he amplifies the powers of his followers. I don't know whether or not he did it to Charles. I think he was just doing like his mental
But his
transfer.
hair fell out, so I kind of
Yeah.
feel like something happened to him.
But that wasn't like him making him more powerful. I think that was him transferring his consciousness into his body. But at the same time, I don't know whether or not like his own followers, like when Magneto betrays him, like does he keep that power that he got? It's all
I
stupid
think,
weird.
I think that anybody like he deals with gets amplified, and that's like his point. That's what he does.
I mean, I guess he does sort of. He uses his. He amplifies his powers at some point in the movie, so he could talk to everyone across the planet. So yeah, I mean, he might have a point.
He did amplify him. Yeah.
I had a memory that when Jean unleashes the Phoenix Force, it was pretty cool. It was not very cool.
See, that was
I actually really like that scene. It's just the Phoenix part sucks, but when she's like the music and she arrives and she walks on air, like I like that part.
Yeah, and then she becomes a bird. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's a little
I don't
annoying
even
because
know why.
well, remember what I said last week about how they show this off as obviously has like that she has the Force inside of her, and then they retcon it in the next movie. It's annoying.
You know what it is? It's that they bitched and moaned about X-Men: The Last Stand about how it wasn't the real Phoenix Force or whatever, and so they keep trying to tease the Phoenix to appease fans. It's like, oh, that's the Phoenix Force. Oh, I know what that is. Like, no one gives a shit. It's a stupid story.
I agree.
Yeah.
And it's disgusting because it feels like for some reason with the X-Men movie specifically, they went really hard to pander to fans, hardcore fans. And it fucked.
I mean, I don't know. What would they have had without it?
Okay, but I'm talking about a lot of the strong negatives are when they're trying to go too deep into like the comics, the Phoenix Force, for example. That's a strong negative.
So if they hadn't like teased or done the Phoenix Force again, I mean, I don't know what's in it for anybody at that point.
But I don't want to see the Phoenix Force. I'd be more interested in.
But you're not the hardcore audience.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be far more interesting to take a look at, like, revisit some of the issues from the first trilogy of X-Men with these new characters, and it's different because it's a new timeline. Like,
Well,
without
that's
the
what the
Phoenix
movie should have been. Is they've set the stage for like, anti-human and like pro, mingling with mutants, whatever that is, and so there should have been the conflict there. Which side of the war are you on? The X-Men would be fighting with humans against other mutants. And that would be, I don't know. Would it be boring to see the same shit again? Probably.
You know what I kind of wanted to see? Like, I had a thought about how I would rewrite this movie in a little bit. My thought would be he'd look at all the mutants on Earth, and technically Jean Grey is supposedly like the most powerful mutant on Earth, right? She's like Omega class. She's super powerful. They say multiple times in these movies that she's more powerful than Xavier. So it would make more sense for him to go after her. Imagine a world where the whole point of the movie is basically keeping her from him. But maybe you think like, oh, he's going after Charles the whole time. But in reality, he's going after her. He gets her. He transfers his mind into her at the end, and they fail. But her power is so unstable that when he does it, like he implodes, and they both die. So then you kill Jean Grey, and you end it on that note. So that way, in the next movie, when she comes back and resurrects with that Phoenix Force, it makes it even more threatening. Like, oh shit, she's back.
First of all, I hate the fact that she dies and comes back.
Yeah, I know.
I would throw that in the trash just based on that. But you do have an interesting idea of like he amplifies her, which is what causes her to break in the next movie. But you also have the problem, which is we're still doing Apocalypse instead of like whatever they set up at the end of Days of Future Past. Think about it. If I told you at the end of Future Past, by the way, the next one's going to be all about ancient Egypt and like gigantic powers and like world-ending destruction and nothing about the whole like mutants and versus Charles and Magneto.
This doesn't really jive with the piece, especially.
I mean, they did do this at the end credit scene. Remember, you guys watched that, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't, but I heard about it.
The end credit scene where
the
he's
Mr.
like
Sinister thing.
No, at the end
in
of
Days of Future Past,
he's building the pyramids and he's got his horsemen in the background.
Yeah, but here's
he
the
looked
problem.
a lot cooler then, though. He looked fine.
Yeah, he didn't look like a machine. He looked like
but
almost.
We talk about this. Yeah, we talk about this in every movie, though. In the last movie, in Days of Future Past, Kia, you said that it's idiotic to think that everyone was like, "Hey, the mutants are good now because they stopped Magneto." It's like, no, it's war. After this one dude woke up from a fucking tomb, shot everyone's nukes into space, and tried to destroy the world.
Yeah.
There's no universe where every government doesn't come together and go, okay, we need to like.
Yeah, I'd be like, thank God the X-Men saved us. Also, let's kill all the mutants.
Yeah. We need the Sentinels, dude. With the Sentinels have beat.
Let's raid the mansion. Fucking Beast is sitting on a goddamn cure for everyone, like to suppress all the mutations.
Where the fuck was Apocalypse in like that like whole like destroyed Earth with all the Sentinels? Why wasn't he like
that's
fucking
what I'm
everything
saying. This is what I'm saying. Did the Sentinels beat Apocalypse? Could they beat Apocalypse?
I mean,
they seem pretty OP. Probably.
If they could kill everybody else, I'm guessing.
I don't know. It seems like maybe he could have just like ripped them apart.
Yeah, he has like matter powers.
Yeah. I like the idea that he's like the first mutant. But I don't love the way that he was like sidelined for all of that time.
It kind of throws the whole theory of like the mutant X gene was accelerated like via radiation, the atomic age.
Maybe he slept next to some uranium or something without knowing it.
But it kind of seems like mutants are more common around the world back in Egyptian times because he's got 4 horsemen.
And he's got multiple powers.
Yeah. And every single time he finds a mutant with a power he wants, he just transfers his body into them. So he's had to have found more.
Yeah. I like him if somehow they did like their own like Thanos type of villain, like something that they were building up to, and like if you had planned it properly and sort of giving hints that there had been a greater power before. I like that. Yeah. And then, the end of the Phoenix saga could have been like after she loses her mind is like she helps them win, but she sacrifices herself. Like that could have been one way to go.
And see, that sounds like a great idea. The only problem I think there is with that is Thanos's goal and the universe that Thanos appeared in with the MCU. It allows him to win and then walk away. So the heroes are left in the ruins or like the problem with fucking Apocalypse is that it's centered on one planet. And there's really no scenario where he's doing something over here and people aren't trying to stop him.
Well, I would say one movie for Apocalypse. Okay. So you have like this movie, which would have been a civil war between the two of them. Everyone beats each other the fuck up. People die. They're all splintered. Like X Mansion is not really a school anymore. It's like a war zone. And then so the dust settles and Apocalypse arrives and they've got to like pull back together whatever's left in some grand finale. And Xavier has to do the dilemma of like, I've been suppressing Jean. I've been telling her like to control her powers, whatever, but we need her to beat him. We need her to like let loose. So she does, and she's also like unhinged and crazy, and so at the end they bring her around to defeat him, but they lose her also, and so Xavier has to deal with that, the fact that he basically sent her to her death. And it's like, I don't know, something different than what they did.
No,
Um,
I don't disagree.
is Angel's father still a senator?
See, that's why I'm asking, like, is this the same guy? Because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they just said we don't care. They didn't want to show all that shit. um, Mystique tells Storm about Magneto and Quicksilver being related. That seems like she shouldn't be airing his dirty laundry out there like that.
Yeah, that was a little questionable.
You know what was also funny was when they went to go talk to Magneto, and he's just like floating in the bubble, and they're like right outside the bubble, like talking to each other, like, I don't know, I can't get through it. What do we do? And Magneto can obviously hear them, and he's just like, I can't, doesn't respond. And then they find a way to break in or something?
No, she just yells Eric, and then
Yeah.
he finally
He's
decides
just
to
like, what do
look.
you want? And then they just talk about family a lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
It's Fast and the Furious with mutants.
I've heard you haven't really said anything about Psylocke and how cool she was.
Yeah, I like Psylocke, but you guys had a point. It's a little.
I'm gonna be honest, she
she's a little
didn't do
bad.
much here.
She
See,
didn't
okay,
do much at all.
like I said the last time I tried to describe why I liked her. I mean, majority of it is because I find her attractive, but also I like her power set. And her powers in the comics are vastly different. She's not like, it's not just like a sword. Like she can read minds. She can like send like
Oh,
mental
another one of
grenades into
those.
people. She has like psionic. She's England's most powerful telepath besides Professor Xavier. Like that's the whole thing. But like they don't bring any of that up. It's basically just like energy manipulation and like construct stuff.
Would putting in like a third or even maybe a fourth telepath have really helped this movie?
I mean, you don't really need her at all in this movie. I mean,
I don't think you need her at all in general.
you don't. I like her, but she's pretty wasted. And then I
Um,
mean, I guess she doesn't die, but
one
she
part
just
that I thought was
disappears.
interesting was like, I mean, she had like one cool moment, I guess, when she fell from the sky and caught herself or whatever. But at one point, remember when Angel catches her?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but she like calls him or he calls her, and she's running on the rooftop, and she jumps off, forcing him to have to like dive and catch her when she could have just let him pick her up. Just weird, stupid.
It's her scene that makes me say it looks like a CW show, because remember when she chops the car in half, she does that stupid flip. That looks
Sort of.
so bad. So bad.
And then
Like
so after
Beast throws the car and she
after
cuts it
she
in
ends
half.
up in like the rubble or something, doesn't she just hide the rest of the battle?
Yeah, she leaves. She just doesn't do anything.
Angel dies. Is that right?
Yeah, Angel dies, but she lives, and then you
And
sort of see a scene where she walks off at the end,
and what was
and that's
Storm
it.
doing?
Betraying everyone.
What do you mean?
She changes sides. She was fighting.
She sits there, and when she sees the hero Mystique getting hurt, she decides that she's not allowing it.
Right. And then Magneto was just like, what was Apocalypse's plan?
He wanted to remake the Earth.
It was fucking stupid. He's like, we're gonna destroy the world, and whoever's left, you'll inherit it. But what?
So they were like across the world. Magneto was like destroying bridges and shit. Is that what was happening?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And why was he destroying bridges?
Because he was doing something with the magnetic field of the Earth that was going to wipe the whole planet clean.
And was Storm also doing stuff?
I think it was just him doing that.
So it was just Magneto amplified
Yeah.
to just
destroy the world.
Okay. What else? Havoc apparently has aged 20 years, although you wouldn't know it by looking at him.
Well, yeah, considering he's a pile of ash now.
What else?
Can I make a comment on that, by the way? Like,
no.
Scott Summers barely reacts to the fact that his brother dies.
I mean, he
Like,
cries, but it's like,
the movie doesn't have the
It's
time
like movie crying.
to
It's not
address it.
real though.
yeah, but what do you want to do? Like, you want another scene where he shakes his fist at the sky? Is this what you want from me? Like, we don't even care about Havoc. We don't care about Scott, to be honest. I'm glad they didn't spend any more time on that. In fact, I'm glad it's like, yeah, can we get rid of some of those characters that haven't aged at all in 20 years? Like, because they're just really weird. The less of them around, the better. But what was I going to say? Okay, the other part. So I like that Egyptian scene. I like the nuke scene. The third part I liked is when they finally actually just work as a team for about 15 seconds of the film. So, I mean, and James McAvoy sometimes like lays it on a little thick, I think, when he's like, unleash your power, like fucking Sidious. And so okay, he does that. She like does her cool moment. She blasts Apocalypse. Then they all kind of like jump in and help out, and the music's playing, and they're actually a team for once. 15 seconds. That was probably the best the movie ever was. And so like I kind of like part of me is like I wish I would have that movie where they're like the whole thing is the theme is about being a team and like working together, and like they try and then they figure it out, and like they have a setback and then they pull themselves together and they win, like something like that. It doesn't have to be against Magneto or other mutants. It's just like we're putting our powers together for the greater good. Like that's I like that. I don't think we'll ever see it. I think it's always going to be either Xavier versus Magneto or like some alien space bullshit. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I think that, yeah, it's kind of fucked.
trying to think what else. I thought Sophie Turner wasn't bad in the next one, but I'll have to rewatch it now and see how bad it actually
I'm not
is.
excited for that next one.
I'm excited for that opening scene. I like that opening scene.
I just remember the aliens. I like that alien scene, dude. It's scary.
I don't know
dig
what you're
it.
talking about.
You'll see. There's aliens in a forest, and they look like legit ass aliens. It's
I
like
think you're gonna find that they're not as scary as you remember.
I hope not. I hope that they're still fucking
I don't think
terrifying.
because I don't even recall. And
Okay,
Everett is
wait a
afraid of
second.
Lotso Bear, and he's not saying anything.
Okay, wait a second though. Wait a second.
They're like
here.
the Skrulls. Like they're about as scary as the Skrulls, if I remember.
No. I remember it was terrifying. Be quiet. Let me look this up right here. Okay, what the fuck is this called?
Are you gonna watch the scene right now?
Well, while you're
Yeah.
doing that, I want to make another comment.
Okay.
I remember watching this movie in the theaters, and I was super pumped. Like, oh my god, they
Didn't we all
teased.
see it together?
Yeah.
Did we? So it was with you guys that I said, oh my god, they teased Mr. Sinister. I'm super pumped.
Yeah,
for
you're
that.
the one that told me who the fuck that even was.
Yeah, and then they just completely threw it out for some reason.
I mean, a guy in like a trench coat and a top hat was not my idea of cool after the movie we just watched. Like, I'm like, this is on like one giant scale, and now you're telling me like a guy in a suit is the bad guy.
It's not even a guy in the suit. Like he's a powerful mutant. But his whole thing is that he's
Aren't they all Everett?
Yeah, they're all powerful, but his whole thing is like he wants genetic perfection, so he creates clones of everyone, and he like does that kind of stuff. I think that'd be an interesting concept.
Dude, is this scene like does this scene not exist?
Well, I don't think too many people even uploaded like scenes from that movie because there's not much. I think I tried to look up the opening scene once, and you can't find like a real version of it. So you'd have to go look at Disney Plus. But why are you spoiling it for yourself? Wait until you watch the movie.
Fine. Because I have this very strong memory of it being like
Well, we can
Emerson,
talk
if you
about
look
it.
up Dark Phoenix aliens, the first thing that pops up is a picture of one of the aliens in the forest.
He's trying
Yeah,
to
but
watch the
it's-
scene though.
I want to watch the scene, and it's a very specific scene. It's not the scene where they like yeah, you'll see Everett. You'll see.
Well, do you have
A fight of the week.
fight of the week?
Yeah, so here was my interesting fight of the week. So Apocalypse seems like he kind of just grabs people at random. Magneto's useful, but the other three horsemen, like
He sees Storm use her power, so he's just like, okay, you're one. Then somebody takes them to Angel. So that's
yeah, it's
no,
Psylocke
he sees,
who
he
takes
sees Psylocke, and Caliban knows how to find mutants. So that's two.
So, but if you were building your four horsemen, which four horsemen would you take? You can enhance them.
But can I convince them?
No, well, it's a balance. You have to convince them, but if you can convince them, you get them.
I would just mind control Charles Xavier again, and then take control of the rest of them, and mind control them into what I wanted.
But who would be your four? You have to choose four. Who's your
Well,
four?
I mean, if my goal is to restructure the Earth for some reason, I would amplify somebody who can move water to just like destroy cities with like giant tsunamis, I guess. Magneto seems to be useful for just destroying metal. I don't know. So I guess we could do that, although the tsunami would probably take care of whatever we needed. Like, I don't think we need to destroy the entire world. We just need to, I don't know. I don't know why he wants to kill so many. So, okay. But yeah, somebody who controls water, and then 3 others to defend me as I mind control everybody else. I would take Xavier. I would just like mentally rape him, whatever. Then,
Jesus.
it doesn't matter. Like, he has the Apocalypse doesn't care. And I guess Jean Grey, just to like nuke an entire continent if I wanted. I don't know.
Can you imagine that he like succeeds and he takes over Xavier's body and his legs still don't work?
Yeah, he's like, wait, nobody fucking told me that this guy was paralyzed.
I thought he was just sitting down all the time. What the fuck?
How funny would it be in this movie if like somehow the transformation fixed his legs, and then he was just walking around just because like James McAvoy hated being in the chair?
Yeah.
The same reason why they never have Mystique in makeup. She hates sitting in the makeup chair.
Yeah. Well, I could understand that. That's a ridiculous, like, yeah. But what do we think about the end where they're in their classic costumes?
I didn't like that Mystique. I never was a big fan of Mystique being the leader and giving speeches. And
What else are you going to do with her? They want to keep Jennifer Lawrence. That's the problem.
I think that scene is very lazily made. If you look closely, you can still see the green screen not properly keyed out on all the actors.
What do you think about their outfits?
It's comic accurate, but
Which means nothing.
yeah, which means nothing, and they don't go back to them in the next movie, so it's a
I
wasted
just think
opportunity.
it's so weird that for their first like team outfit, it's not coordinated. They're essentially just wearing clothes that are X themed, sort of, slightly, sometimes not.
I don't know. I find Cyclops' X themed glasses to be really stupid looking. Like when he turns them on and they just go. I don't know. I thought that was
Okay,
weird.
yeah, and then Mystique is just wearing like white and blue stripes, which I know are from the comics, but it's not X themed, right?
Nightcrawler's got his red and blue outfit.
Right. It's like he's like ready for a night at the disco or something. I don't know. It's not really a team uniform. So I kind of hate them for that reason. I'm not saying I love the other X-Men one where it's like black leather, but I like that they matched.
I kind of liked not Days of Future Past. I liked First
Class.
Class's their jumpsuits, like
They
their
had
G
something,
suits.
yeah. I feel
liked
like they
that.
could have improved upon that. Because remember in X3, Beast has like an older version of the uniform.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, we could have gone with something that was like more classic.
Even in they sort of teased it, I guess, in Deadpool. Like they had the X-Men uniforms. Like Negasonic had like that yellow jumpsuit that looked kind of cool.
Yeah, she's
Had
the
the
only
X on
one.
the whatever. Also, they had the Sentinels at the end there.
Yeah,
The
I think they
old
were like
Sentinels.
fake, right?
Were they?
Yeah, they're like computer generated danger room stuff.
yeah, because for some fucking reason, because they did this in X3 too, when they were fighting something and it's a Sentinel. They're constantly talking about the stupid Sentinels.
You never see them except in
Yeah,
the future.
except in the future. And I never even really liked the idea of the Sentinels. Okay, it's these robots that become self-aware and take over the world, and they're kind of mutants. They're kind of not. Like,
I never really understood them. I vaguely remember them from the cartoon
show. Yeah.
and like beyond that,
Well,
who
they're
cares?
exterminators.
And
That's what I
the
liked
the
about
show
them.
that came out in like the 2000s too had like half the plot was set in the future where the Sentinels ruled the world. And there was a Sentinel queen who tried to marry Xavier or something. It was really stupid.
So anything for Roundup?
Not for me.
I mean, I watched The Boys. I guess does that count?
I've been watching The Boys. Yeah, I you know what? I really thought a lot of it was boring. But the last episode was pretty good.
The one that just came out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
episode
I like.
6.
I also liked it.
Up until that point, I feel like it was like 80% filler, which is pretty good for compared to other superhero shows right now. But like the overall general plot is like Homelander is unhinged. And what are we going to do about it? We got to find a way to beat him. 5 hours later, finally they do something to like actually try to beat him. So, I mean, this is episode 6, like 5 hours to get to that point. And it's all, the whole show is basically like, here's a superhero you never met doing some crazy shit. Oh, and like sex and blood and guts. And oh my God, isn't this cool? And
There's a big shock factor with that show.
It's like I said, like shock factor is legitimate as like entertainment, unless it's a lot of shock factor, which then it just becomes filler. So now they're like padding the episodes with shock factor. There was a giant orgy in the last episode. They spent a lot of time of people just like walking through the house, like, oh, boobs. Oh, superhero with boobs. Oh, superhero boobs with and sex. Like, yeah, we get it. Like, you can get to the plot now. You know, like I've seen boobs before. It's fine. I don't have to watch this show for boobs. I actually watch it for the story, believe it or not. Crazy concept. But no, it's apparently all about boobs and like butts. Hey, there's a guy's butt. Oh, and there's another guy's butt. Oh, and this guy, he had clothes on and now they're gone. Like, that's the show. I'm not exaggerating. That's the show. Episode 6 had some actual plot development. What are there, 2 episodes left to go?
Something like that.
So let's put a fair wager saying next episode's going to be back to filler.
I hope not, but whatever.
But the last episode was good.
I have another one. I watched the entirety of Miss Marvel up until the most recent episode. And I like it.
Is that 3 episodes? Or is it 4?
Yeah, so 3 episodes.
3 total.
I think it's a nice change of pace so far from the other shows that we have.
It's starting to show a little signs of like, okay,
they're teetering.
This story is starting to expand a little beyond what they're like able to
and handle. I'm like, what the fuck? The Jinns, and like they're from this other dimension. And I was like, ugh.
I mean, all things considered, like, because I was thinking, like, how are they going to try to justify the fact that she has powers when she's not an Inhuman? That's not a terrible idea, but
what were they saying? So it's because of her bloodline or something?
Yeah, her like grandfather or whatever, grandmother or whatever was one of them.
It's her grandmother, and because she's from this universe, then her powers are amplified. So what I'm going to guess is they're going to fight her for the bracelet. It's going to get destroyed, but she's going to find that she somehow retained the power because she's from this universe. And
well, they already said that the bracelet doesn't give her the powers; it just amplifies it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the other issue I have with this, and I think this is like Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan is a character that's been around, quote unquote, for a while. But this is like a weird. This is not
in terms
the same
of comic book like history. She's pretty recent, I think.
Right, but like she's been in games and like people have talked about her.
Yeah,
she's, like she was
to an extent.
But what I'm saying
she's
is
more
like,
tacked onto like the Inhumans and stuff.
I think, and this is both a pro and a con. I think that her story is more complicated, at least it seems so far in the show, than like Moon Knight. I had a lot of difficulty.
Moon Knight was something else. I couldn't even tell you what happened.
Yeah, because it was like, but my point is that like I have a lot of difficulty keeping all the characters right that we're following in this, other than like Kamala and Bruno.
They're all just brown people that look the same to you.
See, I knew you were gonna say that. It could be part.
You sure I wasn't on that show?
Yes, I am positive about that. Listen here, Charles. I mean, sorry, Kia. But so mask off moment. But basically, other than Bruno and Kamala and Kamala's dad and mom, I don't really know. Like, I don't know what the fuck is Kamala's friend's name.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know. It's like Nassim or something.
Yeah, and then there's Kamran. I know Kamran. Like, but
That's
what I'm
pretty
just saying
much
is that there's a lot of side
Her
characters
brother and
that I
like,
can't tell if
Mhm.
they're like, I don't really remember. Like they'll be talking about something. I'm like, I don't remember who that is.
yeah,
If I remember
I don't know.
correctly, like Miss Marvel, I think works best as like a side character or like like the B
Because
character.
she's not white. I agree. Yeah.
No, because she's a nice intro to other teams and other parts of the Marvel universe. Like I said, she's part of
She's
the
like a
Inhumans.
side dish, like you get a little bit of Indian food on your steak or something.
If I remember, she acts as like a liaison between Earth and the Inhumans because the Inhumans like hate.
Is she
like-
supposed to be an Inhuman?
Yeah, she's supposed to be an Inhuman. She's supposed to have her powers, or she has like stretchy powers, like her arms stretch and
Yeah,
she
I'm glad
grows.
they didn't do that.
She's
That would've
basically
been-
Mr.
Are
Fantastic.
you sure they're not going to do that?
She's basically Mr. Fantastic.
I'm not actually.
But she's a nice segue because
Wouldn't she
she's
be
that middle
Mrs.
point between the Inhumans that hate basically humans and they're at war with the mutants, and the humans who don't understand anything about the Inhumans.
This show is not realistic, though. That's another issue I have with it. You're telling me that a Muslim community has some sort of like event going on, and it's like only somewhat being watched by the government. They would be getting like
Are you
rounded
talking about
up.
the wedding?
Yes, they would be getting rounded up.
For that festival
nonstop.
they had.
No, I'm glad she's not an Inhuman. I don't like that. Inhumans are weird and they're
I don't
annoying.
like the Inhumans either. Yeah.
and the
They're
fact that
basically
they
mutants,
exist-
but more elitist.
Yeah, the fact that they exist with the mutants. It's like, dude, how many fucking
And they're
superpowered
different from
people-
aliens, and they're different from magic people, and now we have these alternate dimensional people. Like,
Not to mention, it's another one of those like they've been there the whole time type of
Yeah.
secret.
I hate
groups.
that stuff.
I mean,
yeah. Do you
while you're right, like the end point is the exact same, but I know their origin is different.
I
'cause
want
they,
you to go ahead, Everett.
well, they have like, if I remember, they're based on ancient humans that were experimented on by the Kree, and that's like where their origin comes from. But you're right, like when you add that in with all the mutants and all the other superpower stuff, it all blends together.
I want you to think about in the last like 5 or 6, 7 properties, how many like things. So let's go back, like Black Widow. Oh, there's been this other secret society that's like Hydra that's been around this entire time. Well, we're never going to hear about them again. Oh, guess what? There's super powered flag smashers now in this thing. Oh, there's also this time organization. They've been around the entire time. Thank you, Loki.
Shang-Chi.
Oh, Shang-Chi, this immortal dude, he's got a super strong group, the 10 rings. It's being resurrected by his sister.
And
And
another
they
there's been
control the
witches.
world. They
There's
all
been
control the
witches.
world.
There's been witches the entire time. They're all around. Oh, be careful. Darkhold. Oh, okay. Now we have aliens. We have like 7 different breeds of aliens. Oh, there's Inhumans. Oh my God. Now we have these interdimensional people. Like, what the fuck, bro? And everybody's ancient and everybody's a threat and nobody gets it's
Yeah,
it's just-
they're
you're
all
right.
immortal. They're all immortal, which
Yeah.
is so funny. Like it's like it's all such like cookie cutter shit. They're all copying from each other because they keep getting people who don't know what they're doing. And they're just copying from the other one, like, oh, everyone's cool if we just say that this person was immortal and they've been alive for hundreds of years. Never mind, that doesn't make any fucking
Celestials.
sense.
Yeah, vampires. You know what? If someone was smart, they would come in and do like a crazy event where somebody comes in and like murders a lot of people to bring the universe back to scale. And it could be a cool story. Like it would be like Gore the God Butcher, but he goes around killing every immortal.
That's why I think Thanos should have been trying to impress Death. He's like, the scale is off. Like we have way too many people, way too many superpowered beings. It's out of control.
Way too many immortals. Yeah.
It's destructive. And so like I'm gonna kill half of the world to impress Death. And you had Kate Blanchett as Hela, the goddess of death. You could have fallen in love with her and done it to impress her. You just would have had to written her into Endgame. That's the only thing.
But all I'm
Mm.
saying is like, and I've been hearing rumors about Thor 3, which are interesting. But my
4?
yeah, 4, sorry. But I just think there's too many. And the problem is every show has to introduce a unique bad guy and they
In a
just
new unique secret organization.
yeah, and none of them even blend. Like I'm really pissed off thinking about this right now. The Red Room, they could have blended that very well with Hydra and Shield and been like, we're the organization that was fighting Hydra while Shield was under their control, basically. And that's where we've been this whole time. And that's why we aren't that strong, because we were being paired back and now you destroyed us. But instead it was, oh, actually we were just as strong and we're in control of the world. And at the end, we're still kind of in control. So, but like, I'm sure we're going to find some, Atlantis is probably going to exist.
Yeah, that's coming.
Like it's
they've been there the whole time.
Yeah, there's probably going to be like center of the earth mole people at some point in the next 5 years. Like, yeah, the center of the earth, there's this ancient race of immortals that gave me this fucking axe that turns me into a tree, and that
they're gonna find like Godzilla footprints. Like, oh,
yeah, King Kong will have me down there. Like, oh,
the government was hiding it.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, but I still think it's the best show.
Yeah, it is. I will give it this, even though I don't particularly have much interest, like thematically. Yeah, it has an actual story, and it's like, okay, things are happening. Like, I should have loved Moon Knight. I really should have. I dig like the idea in theory.
I still don't even get what the pitch is for Moon Knight. Like,
the pitch for Moon Knight is it's supposed to be this like schizophrenic guy, and I think it would have been way cooler if you're doing a like what's actually going on. You ramp up the weirdness, not in a funny way, but in a horror way where it's not clear if he's insane or not. What is he actually doing? Like, you could have a moment where you think it's a dream sequence where he kills someone, and you're like, oh, that's clearly his other stuff. But it's like, oh no, you actually just murdered somebody. Like, you could do some really interesting stuff. But instead, we got Titans fighting over a pyramid.
It was like a really inaccurate lesson about Egyptian gods.
Yes.
Like I'm like, I don't even want to know. I don't care.
Bad, Khonshu okay. Other gods don't.
Yeah, but
do
they're
anything.
like weird versions, so it's not even like useful information.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking as someone who's never seen or really read anything about Moon Knight, hearing you guys talk about this is like the weirdest shit. Like, it's so odd.
I would say watch it if not for the fact that it's kind of a waste of time. That guy that plays Bruno, I guess he's from The Walking Dead.
I didn't know that. Later seasons.
You guys watched The Walking Dead?
I watched The Walking Dead up to like season 6 or something, 7.
I think I watched up to season 2 or 3.
Was there no kid on that show?
There were tons of kids on the show. Wait, is he Carl?
He's one of them. I don't know.
Is he?
I never watched it. Seems
Okay,
like you guys would remember if he was.
Well, unless he's changed a fuck ton.
I don't think he's that guy.
Let's see.
Chandler Riggs.
No, Matt Lintz is his name.
Yeah. So it's not him. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. What did
you guys? Did you guys catch the Inhuman reference?
He was Henry. What season did he come in? Oh, older version of Henry. Yeah, no. So I stopped walking by this time.
Yeah,
watching.
What Inhumans reference?
In like episode, I think it was 2 of Miss Marvel. They're talking about like Bollywood movies, and they name drop Kingo's character, like the guy he played.
Yeah, I saw that. Isn't that an Eternals reference?
Eternals.
You said Inhumans, yeah.
Sorry, Eternals. I didn't mean
Inhumans. Yeah, Eternals. Can't say that I care. In my mind, Kingo doesn't even exist.
Yeah, well, it's because he didn't pick a fucking side in the final battle.
He's inconsequential.
Yeah, if he had picked a side, it could have been interesting, but he didn't.
And he just does finger sparks. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I have a gun. I can do that too. Like, fantastic.
Like, I like Eternals, but in my mind, it's a different movie. Like, some of them don't exist. Like, who's the Joker guy?
Dreg.
I know people like him. In my mind, I'm like, this guy wasn't even there.
And they're making figures of him apparently. So
who?
Well, they're aren't they making Thena and?
They made Thena and Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
I mean, Gilgamesh like helped Thena calm down. So like he existed, she existed, Icarus existed. Cersei's obviously the main character. Sprite doesn't have to exist.
The one who ran fast doesn't need to exist either.
Bakari doesn't have to exist. Yeah. Kingo doesn't have to exist. Druig doesn't have to exist. Was there another one? I think that's it. There was
there's
woman,
the inventor guy, right?
Oh yeah, him too. Yeah,
Fastos.
Yeah, Fastos. What was the name of the Selma Hayek's character? It's A, right? Something with A.
I don't remember.
It was something that we like. What was her name? God damn it.
I'm looking it up.
What
come
the
on,
fuck?
what
Oh,
was it?
Ajax.
Ajax.
Yeah.
No.
So let's look at the poster for Eternals. Is there?
I'm still surprised that nobody mentions the fact that there's a giant Eternal in the ocean now. Like that annoys me.
I mean,
it
there's so
hasn't
many
really been
things that have
relevant.
happened too. There's so many things they should be mentioning. What about the fact that a celestial appeared over the fucking planet, yelled that there will be judgment, and then teleported away into a black hole? Don't you think that should be mentioned at some point?
Yeah, I mean,
To be honest, you could even get rid of Thena because her plot is directly tied to the evil, whatever thing that was, the one that evolved. What do they call them? The thing that they fight.
I don't remember. It's not celestials. It's like
Yeah, they were like Transformers or some shit.
Yeah,
yeah, but they were biological transformers.
Yeah, I don't remember who they were. So like her plot's tied to that, which a lot of people say shouldn't have been in the movie.
Deviants. That's what they're called.
Deviants, yeah. So you take her out, then you don't even need Gilgamesh. Although I would keep him and just change his story a little bit.
Yeah, I'm looking at the posters. There's 10 of these people. You don't need 10.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Yeah. So like Sprite can go, Fastos can go, Kingo can go. So there's 3 gone. Makari can go, Druid can go. That's 2 more. You don't need Gilgamesh if you don't need Thena. So then it's just Icarus, Cersei, and Ajax. So I would leave Gilgamesh just because I like his power set. Like kind of being super strong would be helpful.
What about Fastos?
No.
You need someone to run the ship. I guess I'd include him.
What do you mean run the ship?
Like he's their mechanic.
Why do they need a mechanic?
I don't know. I like
Because they're machines.
Yeah, I
You
guess
don't need
that's
a
true.
mechanic. Doesn't what's his name? The Celestial like do all the work? Doesn't he
don't
make
know.
them in like his weird factory or something?
He builds
Allah
like all
or
their stuff.
Batul or whatever the fuck his name was. Bagul.
Yeah. Yeah. They don't need like also the reason that they were there is to like advance but also not interfere. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, it makes no sense. But you know what? It's fine. They built nukes or something. Who cares?
Okay, so that was Roundup. I finished watching season 2 of Game of Thrones. I gotta say, I think season 2, aside from the Battle of Blackwater, moves pretty slow.
I remember that as well.
The story's expanding really fast, and I just skipped all the Daenerys scenes. Like I just couldn't be bothered.
Yeah,
Using Karth and all that shit.
she becomes her story doesn't become more interesting until she occupies that city.
Really, until
Marine?
Jon Snow shows up. Yeah, I think Marine.
That's true as well.
Until she's like on the verge of reconnecting with Westeros. It's all just her being like, I'm a true leader. And they're like, here's the reasons why it'll never work. And then she just like burns everybody.
I
And
saw a thing like apparently she has no interest in returning as Daenerys ever. So
Well, she's dead, so
yeah,
she
I mean,
shouldn't.
like,
she's smart. Yeah, there would be no point because we see her when she's nothing and we go with her all the way until her death. So like, where would the story be? This whole Jon Snow thing too, like I'm okay for a spinoff, but the implication is that it's going to be Game of Thrones 2 and it's not. Like who's writing it?
Game of Thrones 2 would be the prequel. If there's gonna be a Game of Thrones 2, it would be House of the
And
Dragon.
who's writing that?
I have no fucking idea.
It's so like, I don't know. So anyway, all right, so that was Roundup, right?
do we have anything for gaming?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I have. Do you have something?
Gaming's pretty dead right now. Do you have something, Everett?
No, just asking.
Did you guys see any trailers? There's been a lot of like Thor trailers, but I haven't watched them. Not trailers, but TV spots.
I haven't
saw
seen
the,
any trailers or stuff. I saw a review.
Oh, we didn't talk about Obi-Wan.
Oh, I didn't
Oh,
watch
it's
it.
fucking garbage.
You didn't watch it?
Nope. I
You
didn't have
watched
the energy.
episode?
I didn't have the energy
No,
or time.
I
to
didn't watch it. You guys talked about it, and then I like heard
The
what
last
final-
episode is a better episode than the previous ones. As usual, the last 20 to 30 minutes of the last episode is where the things actually happen. Leia's not in it at all. Like it's not about her or whatever. It's I don't even remember where they fight, to be honest. Obi-Wan and Vader have a pretty like balls to the wall fight. a lot of people doing mental gymnastics to make it make sense. Oh, when Vader threw the rocks at Obi-Wan, he wasn't trying to kill him because he was trying to make him suffer. That's why he didn't try to crush him to death. Okay. Even though he says like Obi-Wan has become stronger since they last fought, which was like, 2 days ago, the story. Obi-Wan has become stronger, so he like survived somehow. But basically, yes, he cuts the mask off his face and he sees Anakin and he goes, Anakin. And he's like, I'm so sorry for everything. And Anakin's like, you didn't kill Anakin. I killed Anakin. And then they
copy
more.
the scene from Rebels, but yeah.
They fight more where Obi-Wan basically fucks him up. Obi-Wan like smashes the little light board on his chest. And like Darth Vader's like on the floor, like, and I don't know, Obi-Wan says some shit and then leaves him alive, like walks away. Like Vader is done. And Obi-Wan walks away. And I asked people online, I was like, why did he leave him alive? And people were like, well, the message seems to be that he believes that the next generation will be able to defeat him. I was like, wow.
What?
I don't know.
He just did it.
So answer me something I heard. I heard the Emperor tells Vader that they aren't going to hunt Obi-Wan anymore.
I don't even remember.
Is the Emperor?
So the Emperor doesn't talk to Vader at the end?
I don't. I think he does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, no, what Vader's basically like, I'm done with my past, is essentially what he tells the Emperor. Like, I am fully committed to being Darth Vader now. Which I'm like, wait, that was an arc that was happening? Because I guess he was still hung up on the past. It's like, no, making sure Obi-Wan's dead is pretty much a priority. Like,
yeah, he's like a giant master who defeated you, who could kill the Emperor, maybe.
A member of the Jedi Council, still
a beacon
alive.
of hope for anybody who's against the Empire. Like, no, that would be a pretty good priority. Also, like, only one person can beat him, and that would be Vader. So it seems like we should find that guy and kill him. It's not really because he's hung up on the past. I wish they would have maybe dealt a little bit more with Anakin being like, I lost and I want to get that win back. Like something like that, maybe you could say. But then he loses again. That's the thing. He loses again. So it doesn't make any sense.
So the whole series is him losing, essentially.
They should have never fought. This show should have never existed. Reva got stabbed in the chest. She's back. She's literally just back. Oh, she's back. And she's fine. And she's teaching them a lesson because Bail Organa, basically spilled the beans on everything. So she decides to go to Tatooine to kill Luke for revenge because Obi-Wan didn't protect her. So now she's got to kill Luke. I don't know. I don't know. So she's there. Owen and what's her name? Peru? I don't know. So they're like fighting off Reva, getting their asses kicked. They got pretty lucky though. I got to admit, somehow they didn't die. You'd be very surprised because they went toe to toe against a full-fledged whatever the fuck she is,
an Inquisitor,
whatever that means. She's got a lightsaber. He's got like a metal pole, and he defeats her quite easily, or she defeats him quite easily, and tosses her aside. And I mean, she's like crazy too. Maru, she's like. They like set an ambush. Of course, it doesn't matter. I don't know. They've got like machine guns pointed at her. She just blocks everything. And then Luke is like running into the desert in the night, like trying to run away. I don't know. I don't remember how it ends, but she like something stops her. Maybe Obi-Wan comes back and is just like, stop it or something. She starts crying. It's something weird like that where nothing happens. Like literally nothing comes of it. And Obi-Wan comes back and he meets Luke Skywalker and he's wearing the Mythos outfit. And he's just like, hello there. Yeah, I don't get it. Like what's even funnier to me is how when they did that flashback, they're like, oh, Obi-Wan is saying that he is the master as long as Anakin is trying to win. That sets up the future. And it's like, yeah, but then they fought in that episode where he like runs away and like tricked him again. So then Vader didn't necessarily learn, like nothing in that episode is Vader like learning from that to then be like, I'm now the master. That never happened. Then the next episode is him losing again. So like we still don't see the part where like that would even make sense. So really what you're saying is you could have cut out everything except the first episode, because I liked when Obi-Wan was like kind of living his like poor man's life. So you could see some of that. And then he's on a collision course with Darth Vader once he's outed.
And it sounds like this could have been a 2-hour movie.
It absolutely could have been an hour and a half movie. Like not even a real movie, because there's not enough there. Because once Vader knows where he is, it's like it's over. But you could even have put in Reva in there a little bit if you wanted to like stretch it out a little more. But yeah, I mean, the last episode wasn't terrible. But in terms of what it means for the future, you got to do a lot of mental backflips to make it make sense. Why does he leave him alive? It's so crazy.
I mean, probably because you know really why. It's because it's just like he has to be alive for the next one. That's why. They shouldn't have met. Realistically, them meeting screwed him.
Either
I said
Obi-Wan
that
dies,
like on day one. It's dumb.
either Obi-Wan dies or Vader loses, or it's anticlimactic, like Obi-Wan runs away.
The whole, like, you think about it, like he had massive plot armor the whole series anyway. There's no stakes.
So yeah, I
Wait,
think.
did Qui-Gon Jinn come back? I read that somewhere.
Oh yeah, he did. He looks really weird. He looks really weird because he's obviously much older. They kind of did better though. He's like far away. He just shows up and he's like, "All right, let's keep walking." And, and Obi-Wan's like, "Yeah, that's honestly what he says."
Wow. Okay. Well, the
Yeah.
whole show sounds like a fucking waste.
Yeah. So there's Obi-Wan. I mean, I did have some notes. I wonder if there's anything. Yeah, Obi-Wan winning and showing mercy doesn't make any sense. Vader's arc is him basically admitting that he killed Anakin Skywalker, which is like, I thought he was on board with that when he was murdering the children. Like,
I saw a meme the other day. It was pretty funny about it. It's episode 2 where he's like, "You said Vader betrayed and murdered my father." He's like, "You don't understand. That's exactly what he told me."
yeah, right. Yeah, because that is what he says. Bail Organa like doesn't get reprimanded at all for being an idiot.
Shocked.
And like
he gets blown up on Alderaan in episode 4.
I don't know. I wrote something that said Leia's legacy. I don't remember what it is now, but
Well, shouldn't it be like weird that Leia is? She should know who Obi-Wan is like the entire time. I don't know.
Yeah. The first time you're introduced to her, she's like,
10.
"You worked for my father a long time ago. Not saved my life multiple
he tells
times."
them about their parents, but he like only says the positive things. Like, okay, why even say it then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes no sense.
So this show doesn't exist in my mind. Just like all that Clone Wars shit never happened. There's no Anakin never had an apprentice. It just never existed. Didn't happen. Okay, let's go to news. I don't have that much news.
Goody. All right.
I have some Obi-Wan things. Check out some awesome stills from the action-packed final episode.
Did Ezra Miller go any more nuts this week?
There is something about him, yeah. Yes, see, Reva's back. She's just back. I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. That's at the end or the beginning. I don't remember.
That's a shame.
This is him when he's like, "I'm sorry." There's Anakin being like, "I killed Anakin."
I heard something about oh my god, is that actually a still?
Okay, he like lifts up rocks and throws them at Darth Vader.
That's
This is
literally
after
like
Vader
exactly
threw
what it was in the sequels. Remember when Rey lifts up the rocks? It's like the same thing.
I don't remember the movies enough. I'll be honest. Like I've blocked them out more or less. But yeah, this is when Vader throws the rocks at him and then he throws them back. And like, I remember one of them got pretty fucked up. I think it was Vader that got fucked up. And I'm like, how is he not killing this guy? Yeah, there's some more of that. Them just crossing swords. I guess that might be the end of it. He does. Obi-Wan has some cool outfits in the show.
I heard something that
Like
they
this
were going to
outfit.
release a Vader hot toy with that face, that the messed up face.
You heard it?
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Like I heard like people were talking about that. I kind of hope they do because I might buy that if they do that.
You heard them saying that they want Hot Toys to make it, not that.
That's what.
anything-
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah. Yes. Well, because like weren't people saying like they're releasing a Vader figure for Obi-Wan? Like it's in the coming soon section. I'm pretty sure
No.
they showed it off at like all those other. It was with those other figures.
Coming soon means that it was like shown off, not that it's guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
They
never
also
mind.
showed off like plenty of other things, like
Yeah,
Crossbones.
they showed off Crossbones. They showed off Yellow Jacket and Mantis. They all haven't come out yet.
But Vader is going to get made. I just don't know if it'll be like today, because you could pretty much make Vader at any time, especially with that open mask, and people are going to buy it. I don't see many more. Is this from no Blade Runner? Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so something else. Oh yeah, how does it set up a second season? Darth Vader's mission is over.
For now, but don't worry, he'll come back, duel him for a fifth time or something, lose again, and it'll be like,
Look at how they write this. Something happened between the events of this series and episode 4 that left Vader feeling like he was the master now. So one line that they just had a whole show and couldn't resolve. Now that one line is going to somehow spin into another season of television. Really? Oh God.
Also, that doesn't make any sense because the line is, "When I left you, I was but the learner." So that means the last time they met, he was still learning.
Yeah, because
upon their meeting when he kills him, he is now the master. That's how that makes sense. None of this needs to be written.
Yeah, well, he's lost twice now.
Yeah.
Birth of the Rebellion. Yeah, that's a better idea,
Never
but
seen that before.
I mean, we're gonna see Andor, so I guess.
Yeah, isn't Andor like the same? Don't care. Reva's story is far from done.
Oh
You
boy.
thought that her doing the same thing for 5 episodes was not enough?
Get ready for 5 seasons.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Her dying would have been the best thing for her character. But I guess not.
Let's see. Yeah. Season 2. Can you imagine to make a season 2 of Obi-Wan where Reva is the main character? You see, he looks kind of weird.
Oh God.
Oh, wow.
Oh God.
He's got like frosted tips on his beard or something.
He's got some elvish thing going on
Yeah.
there. I don't know what
His
that's
face
about.
is like stretched.
Yeah, you gotta pretend that this just didn't exist. Like
His eyes look really small.
I have to pretend like this never happened because this is weird. This is fucking weird.
I like his
you
Mythos
follow-
outfit though. It gives credit to the figure they came out with, the Sideshow came out with.
It's cool. That's about all I can say about it. Him fighting Maul.
We don't need that. We already saw that in Rebels. That was a good ending.
You don't need any of it, including Rebels. So, all right, Doctor Strange included the first MCU's first reference to Doctor Doom.
Did it?
I rewatched
Wait.
that movie the other day, actually.
Another Easter egg in Doctor Strange has been discovered and it's confirmed. Okay, so it is in the movie, is what they're saying. He credited Kevin Feige with making Krasinski's involvement a reality, saying he was looking for a way to make the dreams of fans come true with his casting, whether that was a one-time thing or a plan for the MCU moving forward. Regardless, when Reed Richards joined his fellow Illuminati members, it was through a teleportation device many fans believe might have been a nod to the TVA traveled through time in Loki.
Yeah, they've got those temp pads.
I didn't even notice that. Instead, it was the MCU's first Doctor
So
Doom
it's not a
reference.
real fucking reference. Fuck
Wow,
this shit.
okay.
It's exciting that costume designed by Ryan Meandering is a really special treat. The detail of the teleportation device he uses to get into the scene is something we took from the comics. That's Doctor Doom's time platform. Okay. I
Nope.
didn't catch that at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
neither
it's
did
not
I.
even noticeable. This is fucking stupid.
It's just a cool entrance.
I hate when they say, "Oh, we did this Easter egg," but it's this super minor thing that doesn't actually mean anything. And
Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?
That thing that he just did, that's a doctor. That was it, right?
yeah,
That's a Doctor Doom
I love that
thing?
little nod he gives when he's like, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?" And he's like, love that. So funny.
Okay, this is it. All right, Doctor Doom. There you go. It's funny how none of them were in the room with each other when they filmed
I saw a
this.
really funny meme where it was like when you play a turn-based fighting game and it showed them lining up one by one to go fight Wanda,
Yeah.
like one by one they came.
Did
up
you
to.
know Black Bolt? I saw Black Bolt's entire outfit was CGI.
Yes, I saw that as well.
I actually don't like it, even though it's comic accurate,
I don't like it at
which
all.
means it's amazing. But I think that it looks silly.
I like Captain Marvel's outfit.
Dude, look how wide Captain Marvel's stance is.
Yeah, that's really funny. She's begging to get double leg. You like this outfit?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. The black and silver is kind of cool. Kind of like it kind of
John
reminds me of
Krasinski kind of looks like,
What?
I don't know. He just doesn't look. I don't know.
I think this outfit sucks.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
His
I don't
head kind of
like
looks
this outfit.
superimposed a little bit over the body.
Well,
It
I think they
does.
all had CGI outfits, except maybe her. But the reason is because they could film it and then change the outfit later, like design it, because it was probably not ready for filming and costume
yeah.
fittings or whatever. So it's probably all CGI. Do you guys remember that first Endgame trailer where Tony and Cap shake hands
Yeah.
and Cap is wearing the Infinity War outfit when in reality he was wearing his 2012 outfit?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like they do that shit all the time. If people just aren't wearing it. That's a meme. Somebody's got to turn that into.
Screenshot that. Screenshot that.
You want me to screenshot it? Why?
'Cause I'm gonna make a meme out of that if you don't.
Everett, it's 108 in this video.
Yeah, go get it.
Yeah.
It's like the meme is like when your mom asks you to put the chicken out and then she comes home.
The chicken's not out. Yeah. That's so funny. Because he has this vibe of like,
I always
shit.
did like his reaction to Black Bolt losing his mind. Oh, this is in a different order. I thought it was going to explode his head. Oh man. Okay, so it might be harder to find then, because it's not in.
That was his reaction.
That's him after his head explodes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is really funny. It's only for a second though. You barely even see it.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
right
would
at 108.
You can look at his neck. That suit isn't real. You could tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can tell.
It's colored on him.
I don't know what he thought he was going to achieve there.
I mean, he was gonna grab her boobs. He's like, "Oops, that's what you get."
Wow.
The Flash. More disturbing allegations about Ezra Miller have surfaced, including child endangerment.
Back in a flash.
So he's basically still on the run. Okay, wait. This might be new.
This is new.
Ezra Miller is currently hosting a 25-year-old mother and her 3 young children at their Vermont farm. However, so they know where he is. However, the father of those kids and at least 2 other people have expressed concerns about the situation. It's alleged that the actor's farm is unsafe for children, with guns said to be strewn around their home. Dude, what the fuck is
He's
going
going to
on?
have a siege with the police.
It's
He's
going to be
gonna have a
Waco.
Oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck is this next line?
One person has even claimed that the 1-year-old girl came across a loose bullet and put it in her mouth. The site has also been shown video footage with at least 8 assault weapons, rifles, and handguns lying around Miller's living room, some of which were propped up against stuffed toy animals. What
This just keeps getting worse every week.
I thought the FBI was trying to serve him or something.
No, it was the police department, but they couldn't find him.
So they know where he is.
Well, maybe. Let's see.
It's
He's like
also
evading-
alleged that there has been heavy marijuana use in front of the kids without any sort of proper ventilation. Oh shit. Miller is said to be growing at least 28 different strains of the drug on his farm despite not having a license to do so. So that's why he has a farm.
He sounds like
Why
a
would
cult
he-
leader.
He is. The father of these children claims Miller secured a flight out of Hawaii for them and their mother without his knowledge. Yeah, that's not legal, but that's on the mom. I'm going through hell and back. I got a bad feeling in my stomach. I do want to go get my kids. They mean the effing world to me. He says police have ignored all his allegations through a social worker who has visited the property. Although a social worker who has visited the property doesn't appear to have seen anything that initially raised concerns. Okay. The mother, on the other hand, says the Flash star helped her escape from her violent and abusive ex and tells the site Miller's Ranch has been a healing haven. She adds they may have firearms for self-defense purposes and they are stored in a part of the house that the children never go in. My kids are able to relax more into their healing for the safety and nurturing Ezra has been providing for them.
Yeah, it's a cult. Whenever anyone says healing, like
Miller appears to have developed a fascination with children as a number of allegations of inappropriate behavior have been made against them, with some parents even taking various restraining orders. One 12-year-old even said Miller left them feeling uncomfortable after he accused their mother of wanting to drink his blood, among other things. It definitely appears as if there are two sides to this particular story. As per usual, Warner Brothers is keeping quiet, but the negative allegations against Miller continue, and we're still not sure what this will ultimately mean for The Flash exactly 1 year from when it's supposed to arrive in theaters.
they fired Johnny Depp based on a hunch.
I think that they definitely had guns around the house and then they put them away when the social worker came around. Beyond that, I don't know. It seems like the mom, fled. The dad may or may not be a piece of shit.
That quote where she talks about healing and nurturing and she just strikes me as someone who's probably a nut.
Yeah, that's indoctrination right there.
Yeah. So poor children. Thor: Love and Thunder reactions declare it the greatest Marvel movie yet and tease unmissable.
Really? Because I
post-credits.
saw someone's review say everything is a joke. There's no serious scenes. Everything is undermined.
I
hate his
I haven't
design.
looked into too much of it. I've been hearing like critic reactions are through the roof, but at this point, this is also a cult, and I'd like people saying it's the greatest movie ever means nothing to me because I'm like, you say that about every movie.
It is the perfect blend of Taika at his best with comedy and a punch to the gut and all in one.
But here's what I think, because the Ragnarok storyline was forced upon him. So he gets to make his own story. So that's probably going to make it better. I think the second time around, he's going to be a little bit better at it. So that would make it better also. People now know to expect. So like a lot of the haters like us know to expect that it's going to be jokes. Like I'm not expecting a serious story. Are you guys?
No, not really.
Here's based on Jojo Rabbit. It's going to be nonstop jokes the whole time. And then suddenly it's going to be very sad. And some people buy into that shit where it's just like, because in Jojo Rabbit, like the mom dies. But the entire time they're poking jokes at Hitler. It's like the Holocaust is going on around them. And it's just like joke, 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 joke. And then suddenly the mom dies and you're supposed to shed a tear. And some people actually did. I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say like Nazism was a joke and the Holocaust, it was like a fun game happening around them. And like Nazi Germany and all that shit was fun and games. And then suddenly when she dies, it's like, wait, now it's real. Like, okay, you can't have it both ways. I don't care. Like, so I suspect it'll be joke, 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 joke. Jane Foster dies and people will go, oh, I cried. And that'll be that.
Oh, you mean like that second Twitter quote right there?
Holy shit. Thor: Love and Thunder is a perfect blend of Taika at his best with comedy and a punch to the gut all in one. I left this movie emotionally satisfied while also sobbing and just perfection. We stan a dad rock soundtrack. What's a stan?
Stan is the new way.
Fuck this. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm sick of this shit. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this. I don't want to hear from these people. We stan a fucking soundtrack. Shut the fuck up. I
Wow.
can't take it anymore.
There's the snap.
I can't. I can't do this. I don't want to be associated with people who talk like that over fucking movies that are just like jokes. Like, stop making movies and media your personality. Go do something on your own. God, you can't identify by someone else's movie. Shut up. Like, oh, this is my mantra. we stand a soundtrack from this movie. This is me, totally me. Shut up. God, who even talks like that?
A lot of people.
You've obviously never seen
damn.
the K-pop Twitters before.
No, I can't take it.
No.
I'm not a part of this fandom anymore. I'm just not. I got a couple figures left that I want from like the older stuff. I think I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Today I canceled 3 pre-orders.
Which ones?
I canceled Peter Parker, I canceled the Lizard, and I canceled something else I can't remember, which is probably good. That's why I canceled it. something else. Oh, I canceled the Black Thunder Toy Spider-Man.
No.
I can't. I just don't care. I find myself like, did you see the new Thor pictures?
Yeah, I don't
Action
like
figure. It's just like, I just don't care. I just don't care anymore. I can't take it. It represents something that's like so toxic now. They were doing something creatively cool for a little bit. It's over now. That shit is done. I'm looking at the Scarlet Witch figure and I'm like, I don't even think I can buy that because it looks so generic and everyone's gushing over it. Just like toxic, consume. Everything is amazing. No, it's not. She doesn't even have an expression. It's weird. Like, what happened? Everybody's just like phoning everything in now.
Yeah, it's because nobody has any real, like, I've said it before, like, there's no incentive to do right because people will consume this bullshit regardless of whether it's
People
good
are
or not.
fans of the idea of something now rather than the reality of what it actually is.
Yeah.
And there's a social feedback loop which reinforces their opinions, which is why people stan dad bod soundtracks for Taika Waititi films. I know I fucked up his name, but that's okay because I don't stan him. But
I
it's
can't
like,
stand him.
people are excited for these movies and declaring they're the best movie ever without seeing them. And then they're going to go in and believe that. And then they'll talk to other people who all believe that. And then they just go into a recursive feedback loop. Now, what's interesting is there's a lot of people, I bet, who will go see these movies and just be like, yeah, it was cool, like whatever. And then just never think about it again. But the super fans will say, look, it was the greatest movie ever. And most people, when confronted by a super fan, are just going to be like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, trash.
Our Thor episode is going to be late because I think I'm leaving like I might even be leaving like in the middle of the night, the day after we see it, unless we do it right after, like immediately after.
I could do that if you wanted.
Yeah, I think you guys would have to do that without me then, because I think I'm seeing mine at like 10 because that's the only seat I could get. So that's like 11 your time.
Then we'll just wait.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't even matter.
Do you have a game of smartass, Everett?
Nah, not this week, man.
That's
I've
fine.
been
I don't
busy.
think I could even do it right now.
Let's save that
Stan
for-
really ruined you, didn't it? That was the straw.
that was his
camel's
snap.
back.
It's a perfect example of just like, shut the fuck up. It's a movie. Okay. It's not pure perfection. Like, you can't get excited about everything. One thing I know about Taika Waititi's movies is like, they're not perfect. It's his style inherently. It could not be perfect. He's like very unique in his style, and he sacrifices a lot to like hit that style. So like, there's a lot of convention, there's a lot of storytelling balance that he just flat out ignores just to like hit his note that he always hits. And like, it's not perfection. So just shut the fuck up. So next week is Dark Phoenix. Do you guys want to do Logan again?
Sure.
I
Rehash
don't
our
know if
first
my
episode.
opinion will change from it because we already did it, and like,
Well, we did it so long ago, and our
It was our
format
first
has
episode.
changed.
yeah, okay, we can do it.
What about No Time to Die?
I really don't want to see that. No
Do
offense.
you guys not? Because it's on Netflix now. or something.
I have
something.
no opinion. I'm happy to watch it, but
If you
I'm
guys
not-
wanted to
like-
review it, otherwise I might just watch it on my own for like
If-
Roundup.
If you want to make it an extra episode, I'd be down, but I don't want to watch it of my own volition. I'm done with the James Bond stuff.
I mean, yeah, we wouldn't do it. So we have Dark Phoenix, then we have Thor, then I'm gone for like 2 weeks. So then we would come back and do Logan, I guess. What do you guys want to do after?
we could start Lord of the Rings after.
It's a
We
good
have 3
option.
Lord of the Rings, we have 3 Fantastic Fours.
We're not doing the
Yeah.
Hobbit movies.
No, fuck no.
I mean, I haven't seen 2 of
If you
them.
want to do the Hobbit movies, I'll do them. But I think that the only reason to do that is to compare what I think works really well in the Lord of the Rings trilogy that I think does not work in the Hobbit trilogy.
I might. We could leave it for the end and see like if we even care.
Okay.
Sure.
So we have 2 Zack Snyders,
Yeah,
we
300
have
Watchmen.
2 Christopher Nolans, which we could honestly do a little bit more if we wanted to. We have No Country for Old Men, which is a good one. Shawshank Redemption is a good one. Usual Suspects. The Thing, maybe. Minority Report, we should watch. Have we ever watched Cinderella Man? I wanted to ask you guys that.
Is that-
Yes. It's
Did
the
we-
boxing.
Yeah, we watched it.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Okay. Because I was like, I don't remember. There's The Northman, which I don't know that we would do that an episode on that. One movie I forgot about was The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, which is by the same guy that did Black Swan.
I'm down.
So I was thinking that would be something worth doing.
Okay.
That's about it. So 21 to go. Not
Alright.
counting anything new.
21. Dude, I stand 21.
Okay. All right. I guess we're done.
Kia's soul is breaking. Goodbye, everybody. If you stand our podcast, put it beneath in the comments.
Yeah. All right. Later.
Yeah.
See ya.